All right, the wide receivers. This list has a lot of big names on it, and we start with George Pickens.
Serious.
Yeah, man, Yahoo
George
serious.
Pickens at the top of this list, not even 25 years old yet. He was wide receiver 5 in points per game last year, followed by, of course, Mike Evans, Juwan Jennings, who famously wanted a new contract over summer, Jay's guy, Alec Pierce, who I think is going to get paid, Wan'Dale Robinson, who had 1,000 yards this season. This is a really, really strong list, Lawrence, but it feels like the most logical path for Pickens is to go back to the team he just blew up on in the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, you would think so. You just never know. If this was any other team, you would feel like you would know, but you don't know with the Cowboys because Big Jerry out there. You traded away Micah Parsons, so Rico Dowdle was a 1,000-yard back. You let him go. Now you did get Javonte Williams, but George Pickens, I think he's more valuable to the offense in bringing back than a Javonte Williams.
Me too.
George Pickens flourished in this offense, third in the NFL in receiving yards. Like, that is very easy to forget after he was left for dead. Not left for dead, but we thought, oh, he can't be a number one. He proved he could be a number one in the absence of CeeDee Lamb, and even when CeeDee Lamb played, he had bigger games. So George Pickens, man, I can't see an avenue where he's not on the Dallas Cowboys. But then again, like I say, you just never know with this team.
Yeah, because of that team, it's sort of an unknown. But, he's somebody that was inconsistent in Pittsburgh, and because I think of the offense, because of Dak Prescott, and, give him credit, for the most part, he had an unbelievable year. And so it does seem to make sense that for both sides, I think the Cowboys need him, and I think Pickens would be silly to move on to another quarterback or another system, a third system in a third year.
Do you feel comfortable, Connor, giving George Pickens a massive contract?
I mean, what are the alternative options if you're Dallas? You let Micah Parsons go in large part because it feels like every time Jerry spoke to that, he's like, we're going to pay other parts of the team.
Right.
It's tough to
This is that part. This is part of it.
This is part of it. You got, obviously, better on your defensive line with the acquisitions you made, but you also got much better at wide receiver, too. You also have 2 wide receiver ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I know there is risk with it because he is a volatile personality at times on the field, but I think you got to get it done.
I feel like he one of them dudes who are like, if he on your team, you love it.
Exactly.
But if you were going against him, you're like, man,
he's crazy.
Yeah. The thing with Pickens too is that it's not just the raw counting stats. The underlying stats on him are excellent. The yards per route run in EPA, he was closer to like Puka Nacua and JSN than he was to the guys behind him in receiving yards. And just the marriage of his skill set with Dak just seems so perfect.
Yes, that's the point.
The fact that Dak is willing to push the ball down the field, that he's willing to throw into tight windows where Pickens, his contested catch ability really shines. Yeah, it certainly makes the most sense for him to just go back.
Mike Evans, still 32. He's now 32 years old. This just feels like one, Matthew, where it's hard to picture Mike Evans ever playing anywhere else.
That's what I was saying.
How do you even have the combo about that?
Yeah, I just don't know what the market is for him. Missed 9 games, 32 years old, missed 9 games. Feels like he's more valuable to the Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield than he is anywhere else. And so I expect this to get done. I feel like he stays in Tampa Bay.
Juwan Jennings, though, Jay, feels like he has a little bit more upside. Still 28 years old. When we see him featured in San Francisco's offense, a lot of wow moments, and maybe go somewhere that kind of features him more as, I don't know about a number 1, but a consistent number 2, where it was always injury-based in San Francisco.
Yeah, there's just enough stuff around the edges with Juwan Jennings where you don't feel super comfortable. The fact that I don't think he's amazing as a separator. He couldn't really separate and give Brock Purdy an option against that Seattle defense in those last 2 games. Also, just like random breaking off the route. I think it was probably his fault, the pick 6, the first throw that Purdy made against the Bears in that game. And also the fact that he's just constantly banged up, almost to a comical degree in the first 6 weeks or so of the season. So certainly a lot of talent. Seems to have a rapport with Purdy. If he stays there, he will be interesting on another team. But, I thought that there were worlds where, Juwan Jennings could have, Michael Wilson's type of season this year on another team. Perhaps I'm not sure he quite has the upside that we thought maybe he did have 12 months ago.
Right, and Ricky Pearsall should be healthy for San Francisco next year. Lawrence, the next 3.
Although, and they always find guys in the draft.
Always.
But again, they're moving on from Brandon Ayuk, which we'll talk about a little bit. And so, I don't know, like Ricky Pearsall's also struggled to stay healthy. Hasn't really proven he's been.
George Kittle off an Achilles.
Yeah,
it's a little barren.
It feels like Juwan Jennings is going to be a priority for the 49ers, or should be. in theory.
Possibly, or one of these three guys, Lawrence, because it feels like these next three change so much based on where they go. Alec Pierce, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Rashid Shaheed.
All three of these guys could go to a specific team, and we'd be like, oh, damn. Rashid Shaheed is with Josh Allen now. Oh, man. Oh, he's with Justin Herbert now. I'm just thinking
Mahomes.
I'm thinking of all these quarterbacks with these big arms. You get a Rashid Shaheed on a team like the Chiefs, Matthew. This is a guy who could go for 1,000 yards if he plays all the games, similar to what Alex Pierce did. Alex Pierce might have just had the quietest 1,000 yards that we've seen in recent history. Not quiet to us, and definitely not to Jay Croucher.
Very loud to me. Loud's my beating heart.
Talk about him.
Yeah, I just think that Pierce, we saw that earlier in his career he was more of a one-trick deep ball threat, and this year we saw the route tree just really develop. He's running in-breaking routes. He's running shorter stuff. He had a rapport with Daniel Jones. We even saw him with Riley Leonard in the last game of the season before he stupidly got kicked out of that game against the Texans. Pierce, he was going off there with Riley Leonard as his quarterback. So yeah, I think that this is on talent at this point. I think this is a top 20 wide receiver in the league.
And Alec Pierce will be joining us on the show tomorrow, so we'll just ask him, hey, where are you going?
Fanboy. Wow. That's right. He's going to be like sitting next to Keanu Reeves.
That's a big one for you.
Yeah, it's going to be glorious.
I think the important thing is that we need to make sure when Alec Pierce is here, Connor Lawrence has got to be a team effort, that we make sure that Jay cannot get a picture with only Alec Pierce.
There's no world where Alec Pierce sits next to Jay.
Yeah. That's right.
Super close.
And just even after the interview, like if Jay asks for a picture, we just need to make sure we're
we lean in between them?
Yeah, exactly.
Like behind them?
We just need to make sure, absolutely
It's going to be a seminal moment in my career. Interviewing Alec Pierce. Don't ruin it for me.
Deebo Samuel also on this list. Matthew, you think he has anything left in the tank? I thought he was better in Washington than I expected.
I agree.
Had a good first half of the season.
Yeah, I mean, look, and just everything went wrong for Washington in the second half, and they were banged up, and he played with a backup quarterback for much of it. My expectation here is that Deebo probably moves on, only because the Commanders have moved on from Cliff Kingsbury. Deebo made so much sense for the kind of offense that Cliff Kingsbury wanted to run in terms of the run after the catch stuff. And I know that the Commanders feel like they need more speed, especially on the outside at that position, at the wide receiver position. So I could see Deebo playing somewhere else. I think does he have something left in the tank? Yes. Do I think he's going to be as dominant as he was in the past? I don't. So I think for our purposes, I think he's a wide receiver 3-4 type, depending on where he lands.
A quietly top 30 finish in points per game out of the wide receivers for Deebo Samuel last year. Another upside.
Felt like that was inflated by the non-McLaurin games, because McLaurin missed a decent amount of games too, and he
had a lot of his touchdowns in the early part of the year.
Another upside option, Romeo Doubs, still 25 years old. Only wide receiver 40 in points per game, but as we always go through, Lawrence, in Green Bay, it was hard to figure out who would get the targets and when. This is somebody last year had 85 targets.
Yeah, and I think up until Christian Watson came on, he was Jordan Love's most reliable receiver, especially when you get in that red area. He's coming down with the ball, back shoulder throws, type of stuff like that. I would actually be a smidget shocked if he's not back in Green Bay, because although they got the stable of receivers, like what did Matthew Golden didn't show us too much. He didn't show us that he could be more reliable than a Romeo Doubs. We know he got potential, but potential is just potential. Romeo Doubs has got you 700 yards at least. So, with the Packers, we know what he is, like every other Packers receiver, a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 type of guy.
He feels like depth. He feels like a depth signing for an NFL team and for a fantasy team, to be honest with you.
What if he went to, say Miami signed Malik Willis and him, and he's the number 2 to Jalen Waddle?
It's more interesting.
That's like what we need something like that.
We've been talking about that.
You need a bunch of dominoes, and they don't sign a real tight end, and you need a couple of dominoes to fall like that.
To get there, but if you squint.
If you squint.
The issue is if he goes back to Green Bay, as much as he has a rapport with Jordan Love, the fact that Jordan Love does target him in the red zone, it's like they've got 5 receivers. He's probably 5th in terms of upside. Like you feel more comfortable in the upside of Matthew Golden because of the draft pedigree, because of Christian Watson with the skill set, and then even Dontavian Wicks and Jaden Reed, I think have more like upside scenarios than Dobbs. But Dobbs might have the highest
guy.
floor.
He's the safe guy.
Same.
Jay, very important question question for you from Stuntman Chuck. Where does Romeo Doubs rank in the Dobby rankings?
Oh, good question.
That's interesting.
Really good question,
All right,
Stuntman
well,
Chuck.
he's probably surpassed Josh Dobbs.
What about JK?
Yeah, I think he's gone past J.K. Dobbins as well.
Okay.
Full healthy year for J.K. Yeah, he's number 1 in the Dobby
Yeah, I'm
rankings.
about to say, he's gotta be number 1.
Yeah, I'll stand by it.
What about Dobby from
The
the Harry
actual
Potter
Dobby.
movies?
Dobby fell off in the second half. So yeah,
Not a strong finish to the year for
so
Dobby.
Dobby's second. Yeah, ahead of J.K., but below Romeo.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotorWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.